What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a title called Tenebris Terra Incognita. We got a chance to take a look at this, I think, a while back during one of the Steam Next Fests. And it's a pretty cool game about, it's basically, you know what if Helldivers had a baby with something like Darkest Dungeon, alright? It's the gameplay of Darkest Dungeon, but also sort of like the theming and hell yeah Super Earth of something like Helldivers. And so today we're going to take a look at the game for about 30 minutes. We're going to smush some bugs, we're going to see how it feels, and then I'm going to give you my impressions at the end of the play session. So if after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I've got a link for you down below in the description. You can check the game out there. On top of that, you can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream just in case you wanted to hang out live. But let's go ahead and hit the game and see what it's got going for us for right now. So as mentioned, Tenebris Terra Incognita is a game that seeks to combine gameplay mechanics from something like Helldivers with the mechanics of a game like Darkest Dungeon. In this title, the general theming is that your characters have crash-landed accidentally on a planet that is covered by ridiculous alien bugs that hate humanity and freedom, and so you are going to take teams in to clear out various decks to make sure that the base is not being infiltrated by nasty insectoid swarms, and then pushing out to handle storyline mechanics and things of that nature to further exposit the storyline that's going to be in front of you. Thus far, I've played the game for about, I would say, 2.5 to 3 hours. It's going to say about 4 hours, but I was AFK for a little bit handling some stuff just around the house. But I've played for probably 2.5, 3 hours, and I think I'm ready to level off some of my thoughts about the game's current early access. It is inside of early access for right now. But what are you watching on the screen in front of you? Well, on the screen in front of you, we are currently beefing with bugs. I know that's not completely and totally unobvious, but we'll talk about the combat mechanics the next time we get into combat because my shotgunner right here just laid low a whole bunch of alien bugs. But as a part of the crash, a large breach has opened up in the side of the ship, and so one of the repeatable missions that you can do is that you've just got to go down and clean them on out. And this is going to be important. I'm doing a level 1 mission right now because I've got a bunch of newbies in the squad. You know, in Darkest Dungeon, you've got to kind of prep your newbies for all the terrible things that are going to happen. Well, I'm doing that right now too, and I'm not sure if we can handle it because I don't really have any healing units, and I don't really have any units that are going to repair my armor or anything else. I was playing around on this run with a high DPS option just to see how that plays out versus the way the game plays when you've got support staff and medics and drone pilots and things of that nature. And so I've got 2 Marines right now, I've got a shotgunner, and I've got a sniper so that I can find out whether or not this is going to catastrophically go terribly for my team or not bringing along support equipment. Different characters in this game have different skill sets, just like you've seen in any other title. So this guy tends to be really, really tanky, and he soaks a lot of damage. He comes strapped with taunts. These guys right here are all about dealing high focused damage with the occasional grenade being thrown on out to cause the enemy headaches. I'll throw out one of those grenades right now just so you can see what that looks like. We'll light everybody on fire so that they're taking damage on their turn to help us through their armor and through their HP. The red meter that you're seeing down here, that's going to be, oh, I have 2 grenades. Nice. Let's get an even, oh, it only stacks up to 3. Well, that's a bummer. I was hoping it would stack up a little bit higher. But everybody's got different abilities, different stuff they do. Down here in the bottom, you've got the red meter. That's going to be your character's health. Right meter in gray is going to be your character's armor. Both of these things can be repaired and fixed, although not by our current party loadout, because I was giving everybody else a break. I'll probably point blank shot you. Yeah, I just need you to die. The less enemies that are around, I think the happier I will be. This big bug right here is unfortunately defending that bug right there, which is going to split my DPS. So half the damage I deal to this bug is going to go to that bug because he's body blocking. So we may just want to focus and deal as much damage as we possibly can on the in-between turns. I think we're going to push through okay. It doesn't look too bad right now. We seem to be churning through the bugs faster than they're churning through us, and that's always a good sign. But on my sniper, I've got abilities that allow me to laser target, increase my accuracy. I've got abilities that deal giant nuke shots. She's got a pistol that she falls back on. Cooldowns in this game are quite long, though. So in general, you should assume that on most of your high DPS abilities, you're probably only going to get to use them once per combat. That's been my general sort of vibe that I've been leaning into, is that I plan out my abilities as though I only get to use them once. Your characters also have a limit break on this yellow meter. That means that they get to take a double turn once it's maxed out, and so we can snipe that guy right there, and down he goes. I love the battle damage and everything that these little bugs accumulate as you're going on into the game. both your characters and enemy characters. They take a... Oh, can I click on these like multiple times? Oh yeah, dude, let's get those samples out of there then. I need way more of those samples. We've got a chest over on that side. Dropped a couple guns. None of these guys are going to be high enough level to use those guns as it stands right now, so I'm not really going to make it too big of a focal point right now to like re-equip mid-mission. We'll probably do that with a little powwow once we get out of here. Ooh, they surprised us, huh? We caught an ambush right there. That's not great. But they have some supplementary stuff right now. These bugs back here are healers. These guys are DPSs in the front, so we're going to want to 86 the healers first before we get too wild and crazy with our combat here. Otherwise, this combat is going to take forever to resolve. And so let's just punch a few holes. We'll put some directed freedom on these bugs in the back real quick. But we did not kill as many as I would have liked to have killed before we got further on in. Big nasty crit right there that we're going to have to deal with. A big miss right there, too, from the sniper. That's supposed to be like your thing. That's supposed to be like the thing that you do. And you missed for me. All right, well, let's put a little bit of shotgun blasts on these dudes. We're not going to eke out the kill right there, but he is accumulating some battle damage. Their limbs and their legs and stuff fall off depending. I don't know if it has any greater effect on how the combat flows, like knocking a leg off an enemy. I don't know if that actually limits the amount of abilities and things that they can use. We're all very, very blind right now, unfortunately. So we're not getting our full DPS off. You go ahead and taunt right there. However, taunt has like a 50% chance to work, and it's on a long cooldown. That's one of those things that I disagree with. I don't think abilities that have a chance to work should ever have a cooldown on them. They should be spammable like every single turn. Like, to my mind, when it comes to gameplay planning, either an ability has a long cooldown and it works 100% of the time, or it's got like no cooldown at all, and then you could put a percentage chance to work on top of it. But in this game, your abilities will both have long cooldowns and less than 100% chance to work a lot of the time. And so you're going to have to factor that in and kind of like play around it. There also seems to be a combo system inside the game right now. Every now and again, my characters seem to jump in on each other's turns, and they'll do like a double attack together that does not use up the other person's attack. It's been pretty cool so far, but I don't know exactly what triggers it. It just kind of seems to happen. All right, let's get some of these bug bodies all nice and cleaned up so that I can get a few more loots. There are going to be resources that you're going to use, and there's things that you can like click in the foreground and the background that'll give you more resources that you take back with you, including loot, but also metagame currency that you can use in between these runs. You've got everything back at base, from like medical terminals that allow your guys to recover from fatigue faster, cryo bays. You've got like shops and things of that nature that you can use to buy new equipment for your characters. Man, level 1 snipers are really, really underwhelming. I brought her because my level 5 sniper is like utterly absurd and really, really good at her job. But the level 1 sniper kind of leaves something to be desired. She doesn't have a whole lot of utility to her. My level 5 sniper's got an ability that pierces through rows and does a, oh good, nice knockdown right there to cancel out a turn too. Fun stuff. I don't know if this is going to kill this guy, so I'm going to throw a grenade instead and get like some dots running on everybody. We only got one burn on that dot, which is a little bit of a bummer. What does that do right there? I can't click it until the turn's over. What does that do? Cleansing spores. It gets rid of one of their debuff effects. All right, you put a grenade on them too. There we go. Now we've got it stacked up to 4, so it'll actually be doing some decent damage at the end of these guys' turns so that we can finish them off. Healer bug is now down, so that's good. You always want to get the healer bug first, not only because he's going to make the fights take like a really long time to resolve, but also because the healer bugs run away and you miss out on loot if the rest of their vanguard gets dropped. And so I always try to get them first, just so that I get their loot so I can take it back to base with me. That might be a kill. That is indeed a kill. Down he goes. Honestly, full DPS teams are working better than I thought they would work. I had kind of like this paranoid feeling when I started recording that this first run was going to go horribly and we were going to get absolutely shredded just due to the fact that I don't have any supplementary abilities. But going all-out DPS, it gets a thumbs up from me. Makes the fights go faster anyways. The fights don't dither and take too long, as they tend to do when you've got a lot of characters that are doing a lot of supplementary stuff on supplemental turns, like repairing armor or healing or removing debuffs. It tends to slow down the fights a little bit because time spent doing that or time spent not dealing damage. But we've completed our mission. They're going to give us our little bit of XP right here. We're also going to get a bunch of other resources. Very nice. These guys, I got to get them up to level 3 about as fast as possible. That's when these characters start to be useful to me, is when they hit level 3, level 4. At level 1, they're kind of just like a body in a seat. That you just kind of keep where it's at for right now. But this is the world map. There's going to be a bunch of different missions out here. I do think that the game, it's in early access right now, so they've got time to sort this on out. But I do think that the game suffers pretty heavily from a repetitiveness and a grindiness that needs to be seen to. There needs to be a lot more storyline missions. There needs to be a lot more missions with interesting mechanics and little quick time events and little puzzles to solve and stuff like that for... you know, little nodes that you interact with inside of facilities. Facilities, as of right now, are really linear. There are branching paths, like sometimes you can go through a door and do like a different part of the facility, but it doesn't have like a little cell grid map like Darkest Dungeon has, so that you can plan it out with little icons and scouting and stuff like that. I would recommend that they add that on in, because that stuff is the extra butter on top of the raw bread that makes it taste a little better, and it makes kind of the bitter pill to go down for a grindy game. I'll be the first person to admit that Darkest Dungeon is also a very, very grindy game, but to me it never felt like a grind because there's so many little management things and things to fool around with on missions and also back at the base that it sort of doesn't make it feel like you're slogging through dungeons over and over and over again. This game does not have that as of right now, so I've probably done 8 or 9 missions now, and they've all basically been the exact same thing. Go down into dungeon, kill bugs, click on things to get loot, and then leave. Every single character class in this game, they've got skill trees. As you can see, I've got some guys that are higher level and some guys that are lower level. Every time you take them out on a mission, they get fatigue. That's going to lower their overall HP that they have available for deploying into missions, and that will not go away until you put them inside of the medical bay so that they can R&R for a little bit, drink a couple beers, and kind of like wipe the goo off. For right now, though, Touchy Anus is the only person that doesn't have anything that he can play around, or he's the only person that has a skill point that he can play around with. Direct hit is going to make it so his initiative damage goes up by 1. Loud shots, it makes it so that his shotgun blast has a chance to taunt the enemy. For right now, we'll probably go with protecting your own, because that's going to allow him to step in front of a party member and take half of the damage that they were going to take, so it gives him a little bit of variability that he can play around with. Cantabar, we're definitely going to want this piercing shot right here. This piercing shot is really solid and deals a ton of damage, and so that's the thing that I've been missing on this sniper versus my higher level sniper. Your classes, they also evolve as you get further on into the game. I've been playing for multiple hours right now, and I'm about halfway to get to that evolution, so I can't speak to whether or not it meaningfully changes the way that these characters play, but given the fact that it happens at level 11, and your skill tree maxes out at 8 points applied, I'm guessing you get a new skill tree when you go on over, just because the layout of the UI seems to imply that. And so I would guess that you're going to get another skill tree to play around with that specializes them in some kind of combat. But for the moment, haven't gotten that far. Inside of our inventory, all of your characters do have equipment that can be swapped on out. Item overhaul needs to happen, though. In this current early access, it's pretty frequent. This number that you see in the top left-hand corner of each of these weapons is the relative eye level of that weapon. What you will find, though, is that like a level 5 item can be ridiculously inferior to like a level 2 or level 3 item, and that's just something that's super unrewarding. These things should largely be linear. They do have stats on them that are kind of procedurally generated, all of something like Diablo 2, where they give your characters bonuses. So if I put acid on an enemy, and then I gave this shotgun to my Defend Corps here, which is the name of his class, he would deal extra damage to anybody that has acid on them. Likewise, there's abilities that do it to enemies that burn, enemies that have poison on them. There's other procs that you can get as well, things like Perception that I think just give you a higher chance to hit, although I haven't gone through what those stats actually do. You can break open like a little side panel over here, and it looks like Perception reduces your chance to be ambushed. So I thought it was going to be accuracy, but it makes sense that accuracy would do that. And so you can kind of get these items with affixes on them that do different stuff that will accentuate your team or make them a little bit stronger. So for example, the Mortiferum right here, probably good because I tend to run a lot of bleed, and acid I also have access to, so we'll drop that on him. But let me get everybody re-equipped. The gear doesn't show on your characters even though it has different icons. That was a little bit of a bummer, but I get it. It's a small game made by a small team, and the artwork that would go into them having to make it so that every single time you do anything with these characters, their sprite actually updates and has like a different helmet or a different gun or whatever else on. I could let it slide, but it is one of those things that I very much like to see inside the confines of a game. Alright, my upgrade's all applied now. There are other things that I can do, and I think I'm going to keep on crawling through the technical tunnels. I've got another mission over here that's for level 4 to 6, but the combat is pretty nasty in this game. Sean Sweet is level 12. Breakthrough at any cost. It says level 4 to 6. My guys are kind of like on the lower end of that, so I think we may want to do a few more deeper dives to get a few more rewards there. This guy over here is level 5 to 7, so I'm not even close to being able to tackle that mission. Inside the base, I'll show you some of the facilities here so that you know what the game has on offer. You've got your metagame progression. So you've got the arsenal. This is going to have everything to do with your item shop. It makes it so better and better stuff spawns inside the item shop that you might want to buy. We've got the med bay over here. This is going to increase the recovery of all of your characters, and it's also going to give you access. I'm going to unlock that right now, but it'll allow you to put like gene stimulators on your characters so that they're stronger. We've also got the cryo bay over here. This is how you get new characters, and so you can upgrade these so that the characters come out of the cryo bay at higher and higher levels. Over here inside gene stimulation, we can use some of those little shards that we were getting from our characters to upgrade them a little bit. I guess I kind of got to decide who I'm going to bring along with me. Let's give him Patet so that he gets higher XP on the next mission. And then this guy right here makes it so that you don't get fatigued, so that's not really going to be helpful to anybody. This is the item shop. You want to check this every now and again for anything that might be good for your characters. There's no way to like sort by character class or anything else, so you're just going to kind of have to go through it manually. That's just the way that it goes. So having now cleared out the item shop, I need to sell a bunch of this other like random low-level stuff that I've got laying around. But I should probably check the cryo bay before I do that because I don't know exactly who's going to join the team. So we've got a couple of level 1. So we've got a level 1 mechanic and we've got a level 1 tank. I'll probably take the mechanic. We can refresh this if you want to. It costs you a little bit of your prestige though to make it happen. So keep that in mind. But we did fish out a level 5 medic right there. So I'll wake up the level 5 medic for sure, even though it's expensive because I could use another one. I would like to see some sorting tabs up here to allow you to sort by class, sort by XP, sort by HP, all that kind of stuff. There's lots of room for quality of life inside this title as of right now, given its inaugural journey on into early access. But we need to level up Familiaris, so let's do that. So when ambush, you put Panacea on yourself. Target without armor applies 2 poison effect. Let's do that. We've got additional poison on her poison gun, which I think is a good idea. We've got first aid, which is really great. And then over here we've got Viper bullets. It's a shot that deals 11 to 16% damage with pneumaton. I don't know what that means. What is pneumaton? Oh, it's the weapon she has equipped. All right. And then to targets without armor, they get 2 poison, and then it reduces the enemy's initiative. Okay. I would like the cooldown to be shorter on her healing gun, so I'll do that real fast. And then we need to get her equipped up with like gear that's equivalent to what level she's at. Oh, she came in with gear that's equivalent. Well then, that solves a number of problems, don't it? But I think I still have some stuff in here that might be better than what she has. Yeah, that's better all around. So we'll throw that on. And I think that's about all I can do for right now. But I should be about ready to take in an actual team that's ready to rock. You can retire people over here in hibernation if you want. I don't know if retiring people gives you any kind of real bonus. But let's take her and we'll put her inside the infirmary. Anybody that's like higher than a 10% fatigue should probably go in. I was going to take Tuchianis with me on the next one though. Maybe we'll just let them all chill for a little bit. Wasn't really worth the crystals that I just spent, but let's go back to the world map and we will see if we can deep dive down into the bowels of the ship, get into the technical tunnels, and I'm going to bring you. I am going to bring you so that we can see some more advanced gameplay. She's resting right now, so we don't really need her. Let's bring the sniper instead, and then we're going to need like another frontline commando to help us out here, and then we'll deploy on in. There are other biomes, by the way, in case you were wondering. This one right here has the lights out, but it's still like the technical tunnels we were in last time, but there's outdoor environments. There's like caves that you can dive into. Let's go ahead and dink them. That did not do nearly as much damage as I was hoping it would do. Viscous mucus, that's going to lower our accuracy while we're going up against the enemy. We need to focus as much of our DPS on this guy. He hit 2 shots and it put Panacea on him. That's good. That should clear out one of his blindnesses, but they're all going to heal each other because they've got 2 healers on this fight. So this is going to get worse before it gets better. There's our opening knockdown that's going to stun our tank, so he's not going to get a turn. Bust shots back there. Good stuff. Every shot hit. Don't have any complaints. Mechanic, I want you... Let's hit him with a hard shot right here. Every bullet from that salvo has a chance to put regenerating armor on somebody in the team. We'll go ahead and put out a light shot right there, which is going to kill the first healer. His armor's getting a little bit low, so our mechanic is going to have to spend some time fixing that armor before too long. Let's put out a shot to there. We did shred the armor, so that's good. I think I would like to do a point-blank shot back there. Or I'm sorry, a normal shotgun blast. We'll hit him with the nuke shot right there, which is going to drop that mob. Really, really good for us. And then you repair his armor, please. He's going to unleash a little drone, and it's going to run over here and weld more armor back onto his tanky person. He's protected, so I don't think we have too much of an option right now to do anything else but focus on the Goliath. I'd rather not, but I think we're going to have to. Let's do a point-blank shot on you. And we got a combo attack right there, which is really nice for us. I'll take that. His armor is still looking a little rough, so let's go ahead and put armor repair bots on him. That'll give him a heal over time, basically, to his armor meter. And let's focus on getting these guys chunked on out. Let's keep his initiative down with shotgun blasts and push him down a little bit. That's a poison right there, so it's dealing damage through his armor, but there's not much that I can do about that for right now. That's just the way life goes. Sniper got a double turn. Double turns do reduce your cooldown twice, which is honestly probably the biggest benefit of the double turn and letting it max out. I will go... I need Panacea on people. Every shot puts Panacea on people, so hopefully that'll purge at least a couple debuffs from him. This might be the kill. It's not the kill. We didn't get the damage rolls that we needed. But there we go. We cut the guy in half with a little bit of shotgun blast. I would like it if they can be clicked multiple times. If they decayed slightly each time that you clicked them, like a part popped off. Each time that you like harvested materials from them so that you have enough to use. Do we have anything lootable back here? I don't see anything lootable. It can be in the foreground or it can be in the background, but... that's not quite as bad as a fight. We'll put the damage on that row right there for the double hit. And we're blinded straight off the bat. Minus 40%. Minus 40% accuracy on him, unfortunately. And minus 30%. Oh, never mind. We've just got very, very diminished capability for accuracy right now. Okay, this guy also stacks up a thing called droning. All of his abilities have a chance to do something. For every stack of droning he has on him, it increases the chance that that extra thing happens while he's going on in. We're going to need Panaceas, so let's fire at this guy real fast. And we did get Panaceas on the 2 guys we wanted it to be applied to, so that's good. No misses right there because the Panacea wiped out his accuracy debuff, so that worked out perfecto. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Let's get him in the back because he's going to be debuffing my accuracy this entire time, and it's obnoxious. We'll do a big nuke shot right there, which should lower him down into one-hit KO territory. And is anybody low on armor or anything else? Not really, so just finish this dude off, and hopefully we don't miss too much. Okay, he's got a little bit of shock on him. That's going to lower his initiative, and if it gets up to 10, it converts into a stun. I'd like to throw some fire on these dudes. Let's go... You know, I think he's close enough that we may be able to get the kill here. Like, I don't think I'll be wasting too many turns in trying to get this done. Half damage is never ideal, but it's the best that we can do in the dispensation of freedom for Super Earth. Super Earth needs us right this second, and the filthy, disgusting bugs must be laid low. Point blank shot, very nice. We'll just do a normal pistol shot right there because she's not cooled down yet. We'll fix his armor. Perfect. I don't know if he critted right there, but it felt like that restored a lot of armor. It's a good thing, too, because that was a crit right there. That hurt like hell. I don't know what these buffs are doing for him, but it doesn't really matter because he's going to be down on this turn anyways. A little action cam right there just to accentuate the action. See how many goodies I can get off these bodies. Not much. Not much in all fairness. Nothing to really loot either. Got Alveo, Virosis. No, I don't want to go back. That was a misclick. What does the Virosis do? Alright, so now that I've taken a look at the... Oh, that screen can be clicked right there. Gave me a little bit of prestige. It's not that much, but it's something to help out with, like, expenditures and unlocking new areas of the base. Okay. With this layout... That little dude back there is going to stack a lot of bleeds on us, so he needs to go first because I have ways to restore armor, but I don't have ways to restore health right now. The optimal team is like a marine, a medic, a healer, like a medic, an engineer, and like something else, just whatever you find to be appealing to play. But, aw, dude, you knocked down my marine? He's my favorite character, too. That's why you did it, isn't it, you turd? Unfortunately, I need him to go, so I'm going to have to do something inadvisable right now and shoot at him even though he's got half damage allocation. Hopefully nobody misses. Alright, so we're not stacking bleeds anymore, so that'll help out a little bit. 9 poison out right there. I'm going to need Panacea to go onto somebody. So let's just start in the front. Unfortunately, Panacea went onto my Marine, but it is going to clear off his blind, so that's somewhat helpful. Let's chuck a... I don't think he has the level 3 grenade yet that does 3 stacks of fire on everybody, so I'm going to wait to use the grenade. It's not quite as useful on him because he's lower level. My higher level Marine can do it, but you get sniped. And they put the blind right back on. I do get the vibe that the enemy's cooldowns are way shorter than your cooldowns. I've also noticed, like, I've been pushing through level difficulties, and I haven't really seen too many different types of enemies. Seems like there's only like 4 or 5 for right now. Maybe there's more of them in later on levels, but the grind to get there has been considerable, and so I haven't seen it yet. But more enemy variety is always a good thing. Like, you're probably going to want to, like, quadruple the amount of enemies that show up. Missed a lot of those shots, which is unfortunate. She's poisoned. I can live with that, though. That's not that big of a deal. Big dog lost his turn. Oh, she did get 11 damage. I was just about to say she probably won't get 11 damage out of this. But, like, you know, sometimes. Go ahead and repair some armor on people. He's not going to go for the guy that just got the armor restore anyway, so it's not really going to matter, but... If you're wondering why I always machine gun with this guy instead of using the knife ability, my machine gun ability has plus 20% damage from his passive skill tree, and so that's why I'm focusing on machine gunning. Nobody has any debuffs or anything right now, so let's just go hard charging. And down they go. Perfect. Got 3 parts out of him. That's nice. I can take that. Ooh, all these guys were winners. Sweet. We actually got decent biomass out of that. I'll take it. Constantly mousing around to look for the next loot spot. There's one. It just gave us 10 of the currency we need to buy items back at the base, though. Let's go big snipe on the healer nice and early. They don't have anything that stuns or causes problems, so that's good. Let's go with the ability that puts Panacea on people for each hit. That'll at least clear our tank out a little bit. He's going to throw a heal on that little dude over there, but it's not going to save him. I need bits and pieces to come off that bug right this second. I want him in a big old sloppy mess on the floor. This probably won't hit. Oh, it did. Okay. I found that ability is really inaccurate and oftentimes does not produce the result that I want it to have because you'll have like multiple misses in one salvo. And so it's always got me kind of like nervous to use. But my general thoughts about the game is that this is an early access that has good bones. It's in a solid spot right now. Not necessarily for a purchase, just due to the grindiness and kind of the repetitiveness and the lack of kind of enemy variety and stuff like that. But the game is in a really solid spot to capitalize on the fact that Darkest Dungeon 2 was kind of not that great of a game for people like me that wanted more Darkest Dungeon 1 just with more mechanics and more base building and stuff like that. They're in a really solid position right now to steal that market share if they can get things like, you know, a bag full of supplementary items like hacking and, you know, welders and things like that that you can use to kind of like modify as you go through. Like, what if as you're going through here there's a hostility level and you stay in and the whole thing loops on itself and you've got a grid just like Darkest Dungeon, but every single area you step into raises the hostility level and makes the enemies harder. But you can like weld doors shut, killing floor style, in order to lower that to stay in longer. And there's certain nodes inside of here that you need like a hacking console in order to get into. I did get a hacking mini game one time during the tutorial, but I never saw it again. If you have a technician on, there is a hacking mini game, but I've only seen it once in like 3 hours of playing the game, where it's like a little quick time event that your technician can do to open up certain doors and stuff like that. But it's only come up that one time in like a scripted environment, and so I don't know how frequent it is. And so what you've got right here is a game with good graphics, it's got good sound effects, it's got good fights, it's got solid tactical thinking that goes into playing the game, where you're trying to figure out, you know, what abilities am I going to need on this next run in order to survive through combat. But I did find a lot of the hallways and the areas you get into to be kind of humdrum, repetitive, and grindy, and they need to be spruced up heavily to be made much more interesting, so that each run feels distinct from the previous run, even though you're trudging through the same hallways. And so really this is a game that I'm going to wait and see what they do with it over the course of the game's early access, see what they add in, see what accompaniment gets fired off inside of the game. But for right now, it's got really, really good bones to build on if you don't mind a little bit of grind. If you enjoy that grind, by all means jump on in. But if you're looking for something a little bit more heavily narrative based, or where the in-between periods, aside from just the dungeon crawling, have a lot more things to occupy your time and keep you entertained in order to spruce up the runs and make them feel better. There's definitely room for improvement here. Lots of quality of life, lots of content going to need to be added in this early access to get it up to par with its principal competition, which from my perspective are games like Eratus and games like Darkest Dungeon. But if it gets there, man, this is going to be a cool sci-fi replacement for that, especially considering that I think deep down inside of us, all gamers really, really, really enjoy destroying space bugs. I don't know why we enjoy it so much. We just kind of do. We really have a good time with destroying space bugs. They're the enemy that just keeps on giving and giving and giving as gaming goes along. Say what you will, but like I'm always up to mulch some bugs, and so that really, really makes this game feel pretty fun too. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for stopping on in. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today it was Tenebris Terra Incognita. Tomorrow it'll be something else. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will catch you all later. Bye, folks.